What is going on, everyone? It's been a while since I've done a full video. This channel is kind of going to be probably a mix of a little bit of orthodox content and a little bit of like off-road and overland kind of content. Obviously the name of the channel is Overland Adventures. So I guess we'll just start with going over my my rig here. So my previous vehicle was a 2015 Subaru Outback. I think I did make a video of it and never made it on YouTube for whatever reason. So we'll do this all in one take because I'm terrible at editing, and we'll just kind of go through it. So this is my 2014 Toyota FJ Cruiser. I'm a little bit over 110,000 miles on it. I got it about a year ago, and I'll kind of just go over what I've got on it. And hopefully in the future I'll share some future adventures. I got back from one just a few weeks ago. I didn't really record anything and whatnot. I've got some pictures. If I can maybe figure out how to throw them in the video, maybe I will, but no promises there. So I guess we'll start on the outside here. On the front, I've got two Hella 500 Value Fits LEDs with the amber covers, and I like those a lot. They're brighter without the amber, but it's nice having the amber option. I may pick up a thing of clear filters eventually, just to throw them on there and to get that crisp white, but it is nice having the covers on there. Helps protect the lights and whatnot from damage, and that is in the driving beam pattern. Eventually, when I get a new bumper, I kind of want to upgrade to like some HID spotlights and then still use these somewhere on it. Just because these don't have a super tight pattern, but they still do relatively okay, but they're not as great for distances. And as I make my way west, I would like to have tighter beams for longer distances, for windier roads. Here in the Northeast, it's not a huge deal because there's really not a lot of long distance roads where you really need that distance light, and I don't do a ton of nighttime off-road driving at the moment, but you just never know, hence why I have them. And below is an old Lampfoos Mavericks LED light bar. This was the same one that was on my pickup truck. It was also on my Subaru at one point, and now it's on the FJ. The thing is still going strong. It's got a lot of chips, and the powder coat has worn off in many places, and the black powder coat is faded, but the light is still going pretty strong. I don't really see any differences in it from when I first got it, other than the paint. It's been a solid light, and it's pretty great. I like having it. The wiring is a little meh looking, but that's just because of my own doing and forgetting, steps when running it. So one of the ground wires is just kind of tucked up right here and whatnot, but otherwise everything else, I've got the connectors on it, for the light bar, all tucked up nice back there. Same with this, it's not a huge deal. It's not the cleanest, but not the worst. Again, the connector right there, it would have been better behind the grill, but again, due to just how it ended up happening, it didn't end up perfect, but it looks cleaned, it's out of the way, and I don't mind it. Swapped out for the little stubby antenna. It's like 20 bucks, cheap, easy. One less thing to break, and I don't use a whole lot of like FM radio, but when I do, it does decent enough. You can see my old beach vehicle permit for Rhode Island. Haven't been in a couple years, but that is a fun, well, I should say about a year, a little over a year it's been, but those are good options. And for suspension, I'm running the 3-inch Old Man Emu Nitro Chargers. And as for tires, I'm running a 285 70 17 Falcon Wild Peak all-terrain. And those are the AT3Ws. I got a good marketplace deal, so I couldn't pass them up. They're almost brand new, and I didn't spend a whole lot on them, so I can't complain there. And they do fantastic off-road. overall, it's a pretty clean FJ. It was coated before, but I'm gonna probably end up getting a better coating eventually, because there are some spots that are starting to kind of show a little bit through, but it's not rotted at all. The frame is actually in really, really good condition for an FJ. So I can't complain there. Still have the stock roof rack on top, just because it was not an area I really wanted to spend money on, and I really want to keep it as low weight as possible. And then on the roof rack, you'll see various little lights I've got around. I've got a couple ones on there for reverse, and a couple, those two closer to the middle are just amber lights that flash, so they're kind of like chaser lights. But none of my wiring is currently done on the roof rack. I just haven't gotten around to doing it yet. And I have to figure out how I want to run the wires down in. And then you'll also see I have the little ARB base camp lights around the roof rack as well on the sides. They're pretty much the same thing as the KC variant. I'm pretty sure they look exactly the same. The ARBs were actually just slightly cheaper, and I just modified the bracket a little bit to work for my needs. Also got an ARB awning on the back. That's the 4x8, 4x7, whatever it is. And it works well. It would be nice to have a bat wing, but this is the same awning I had on my Subaru for years, so I save money by reusing it, and it helps a ton. You can see all my stickers I've got on here: Hella, Orthodox Cross, Mandalorian, because I am an approved Mandalorian merc, so you'll find me at a lot of different events. Forest Patrol, Desert Patrol. Desert Patrol is for the future. Hopefully getting out to the desert eventually. I'm hoping to plan that soon and go within the next year or so. And then Ridgeback Guide Service, and the Trans Vermont Expedition with Ridgeback Guide Service, Midland, and Apache Pine. Highly recommend going out with Ridgeback. Ron is a fantastic guide, a lot of knowledge there, and he really instilled a lot of confidence on this last trip on the Trans Vermont Expedition to really get my feet wet and to really push my FJ to what it can do, what it was made to do. And it got me a lot more comfortable within that, which is fantastic. You know, we were doing green and blue trails, and some of the blue trails ended up having some blue plus, or, you know, slightly closer to black sections. And, you know, with his guidance and a few others' guidance, I was able to traverse it without any major issue. Did have a couple closer calls on 3 wheels, but again, with the correct guidance, we were able to correct that and reposition so that that wasn't happening, and there was no incident, which was fantastic. So yeah, I got that factory Toyota hitch on there. I installed myself. That was great. And yeah, we're just running the factory wheels as well. I didn't mention that. I just didn't have the extra money to spend on wheels at this time, so I didn't, and I just stuck with the factory wheels for now. Running on the side, we also got a shovel with pack mounts just in case. It's great to have. Coming inside, again, this is going to be for my roof lights. This is the Strobes & More Touch 4 little switch panel. That'll run all my top lights. I had this previously in my Subaru for when I was still a volunteer firefighter, so I kept it and I reused it. I'm going to get a new legend sheet so I can redo the labels on there eventually, but that'll come with time. These are the CH 4x4 switches. That one does the Hellas in the front, and then I've got a few more on the inside. One for the LED light bar. I did put one in for dually lights and for rear lights. Originally, the reverse lights on the roof rack were going to go in the rear lights one, but then I just decided we're going to do them all in the Strobes & More, and then I don't know what I'm going to use that one for yet. And the dually lights, I actually went and tried to install the Rego brackets for the cowls right before my expedition in Vermont, and the cowls just didn't fit because of how thick the brackets were, and I didn't have the time to modify them. Still have the brackets. I may put them back in and do that. I may not. I don't know. I actually wanted the Other brackets, I can't remember. This DB Customs, that's the one. I wanted those instead. However, he's gone off the radar and the site is down currently. It's been down for a while, so I'm assuming he closed up shop and is no longer selling them. There's a lot of Chinese knockoffs that look exactly like his, but they're nowhere near the same quality and fitment. So I'm assuming it's probably because a lot of people just started buying the Chinese knockoffs instead of his, and that's what ended up causing that crash out. But I would like to be able to put those brackets back in and have dually lights, or pillar lights, cowl lights, whatever you want to call them. I'd like to have them in, but for now they're all these switches are wired, so all I would have to do is in theory connect them to my fuse panel underneath the hood, which I will show you. But that is that. I've got a Midland Micro Mobile, also needs to be hardwired. It's just currently plugged in there. And I've got a little mag antenna on the roof that it came with for now. I do have another antenna that I would like to install somewhere, but again, it really depends, because I was trying to do that off the cowl light bracket initially. That didn't end up working out, so it may end up being a different kind of job. I may end up putting it, if I get a new bumper, I may do like a clamp bar mount or something. Don't know yet, but so far that's been great. It worked great on the Vermont trip. That was the first time I've really used it, and I had no issues with it. It was a great radio, and it does well even with the little mag antenna. But I do want to clean up all the wiring so it looks cleaner, works cleaner, and then I've got a plug free. Got a couple patches, Toyota Overland Bound East, Orthodox Cross, Virgin Mary. If you couldn't already tell, I am an Orthodox Christian. That's kind of the main inside part. I don't really keep a lot in the storage. It's just, registration and things like that. And then in the back is kind of a mess right now. Not really. This is kind of how I keep it for camping. I've got my sleeping pad, a Cabela's tent cot, my chair, and then usually I'll have my cooler and a couple other things in the back. I'll show you here in a bit. Emergency supplies, flares, fire extinguisher, bear spray, that kind of stuff, recovery equipment. I have a lot of ARB stuff just because it was what's good, what's well rated, and just it was easier. I got a lot of ARB on here. These I know need to be replaced before it gets down into the things. It's kind of already starting, so I do got to get on that. That was on the list, but the guy at my local Toyota just didn't give me the right part, because finding the part number was weird. I don't know. It's been a weird process there, so I got to order those, put those new ones in, clean that up a little bit, so that'll be good. Let me pop the hood. I'll show you what's underneath. Actually, yeah, because we'll talk about the wiring, and then I'll show you the back setup. Currently, I've got no bar work on this at all. At the moment, eventually, that's the plan. Rock sliders are the next big off-road item I'm going to be looking to put on here, and somehow I came out unscathed on this last trip. You really should have rock sliders. I do need skid plates as well. I came out unscathed, which was good, but it came with the risk of not knowing, so there is that. So you can see my wiring. It's clean. It does come up underneath, but up and around, underneath things, behind, so it's not in the way, doesn't get pinched. And then it comes back here. It's actually filthy under here after the trip. I still have to clean out my air box, my air cabin filter, all that stuff. It's absolutely filthy and dusty because of how dusty Vermont dirt roads are. And this is going to get a little bit better cleaned up with some wire loom and zip ties eventually. But there's my fuse box, my relay box for all my off-road accessories and lights. It all runs right to there, which runs right to the main battery. Keeps it nice and clean and simple. So I can't complain there. Keeps it, like I said, nice and organized. And yeah, that's really that, that's how I like to keep it simple and whatnot. So she'll probably leave this open because I'm gonna end up cleaning it now that it's open. And then coming around to the back, inside, I've got custom drawers that I made myself. They aren't perfect, but they do function quite well. It is coated in like a Flex Seal, and it's just not great stuff. It just peels. That's why you see all the little marks. This was made not long ago, but it looks like it's been through the ringer already. I'll probably end up taking carpet or something and covering it with that like I should have in the first place, but I didn't. I do have a little extension cord running up from the power, factory power off the side, so I can still use that when I get a fridge eventually and whatnot. Yeah, so it's got a little bit of extra space off to the side. That's just how I designed it, so it would work well. On this side, this is where I keep my stove and all that, and this actually slides out into a camp table, so everything stays here with the stove, so I cook right on this right here, so I don't have to do a huge setup, which is awesome. It's got little slam latches like for a boat. This one, just because of how the hole is just a little bit too high, you gotta actually physically pull the latch to close it because it just doesn't hit. As it was, I had to shave the catch piece. On this side, this is kind of my miscellaneous camping stuff. You know, I carry my coffee percolator, which is in the kitchen at the moment, not in here. You know, camp soap, other dishes, lanterns, my awning side breaks, tent pegs, candle, like citronella candles, cleaning supplies, just that kind of stuff. It works well enough to stay in here for now, and I like this a lot better than packing out bins all the time. I just don't like having to unpack a ton when I get to camp. Less setup, the better. It is very heavy. It is 3/4 inch plywood, so it does play some factor in that regard to the weight of the vehicle. But I do have the medium grade on the Old Man Emu system, so it's kind of made to take a little bit of weight, which is good. When I get the bull bar, we'll see. Maybe I'll upgrade to the heavier springs, but it's gonna take some calculations to kind of figure that out. I don't plan on doing a lot more weight-wise. I mean, I know there's gonna be the skid plates that play into effect, the other bar work that's gonna play into effect as well. So I'm on the fence about doing steel skid plates versus aluminum. Still unsure there. You know, it's really just little things at this point besides bar work that I'm really going to be doing on the FJ. Eventually I'm going to add some more rear storage off to the sides. I would like to get this on the roof once I waterproof the bag, because it's my tent cot. It's a little bit heavy. It's a little bit bulky, but I like it. It sets up easy, it's quick, and it's comfortable, so it works for now for me. I like it in those regards. I don't know if the subwoofer is gonna go yet or not. Kind of like having it. I do use it, but I don't necessarily need it, and I could use that extra storage space perhaps to do those little baskets on either side, and maybe a shelf, Male panels. I don't know yet. It's all just thoughts and speculation at this point, but I would like to try and get as much out of the back seat as possible. Move to the back, it'll be more secure that way, a lot easier, a lot safer. But that's that. Yeah, I mean, it worked really well on this last trip. I was really pleased with it, actually. Setup super easy. You know, I could set up maybe 15-20 minutes at most. You know, that's the awning, the tent, you know, all that, because not having to unpack the whole kitchen made it super easy. You just pull it out, you just pull the cooler out, and then just grab whatever I need out. Eventually I would also like to get a 12-volt fridge, and with that I'm probably not going to do a dual battery system. I'm probably just going to end up getting getting a Jackery pack with some solar panels, and just doing it that way and running that or charging that off of my 110, my factory 110 power, or I'll run the factory 110 power while driving, and then, like I said, just plugging it into the Jackery when at camp. Does something to that effect, because it's just, I'm trying to keep it simple and relatively low cost, and the less that I have to do, the better. I am going to be putting in my differential breathers at some point. Heck, maybe I'll even do it today, I don't know, but I do want to get those put in. It's little things at this point that I really want to do for this before I really take it out on its next thing. But really getting skids and sliders are going to be the biggest thing before I really get after some other stuff soon, just because I don't want to damage the thing, you know. You damage your sills and you're kind of screwed. So overall, like I said, I'm very pleased with the FJ, as it's been tested and proven, and over, well over a decade. It's a very capable off-road vehicle. That's what it was designed for. Yeah, it's IFS, but it does really well for an IFS vehicle. It's not, is it a rock crawler? No. Can you take it up some rocks? Absolutely. I did, and it did really well. You just have to know how to pick your lines and drive accordingly. It's not about, everything else. And there's always a downside to one versus the other. Longevity wise, everything will fail eventually on any vehicle, so it's really just about that. But I got, all new lower control arms and upper control arms and all that kind of stuff. So like I said, it really is a solid vehicle, and like I said, it does really well. A lot of people make fun of them, but really it really was a great vehicle that Toyota made, and I absolutely love mine. I've got no issues, major issues with it. I absolutely love this car. It's my dream car, and I'm getting to take it places that I've always wanted to. And like I said, I hope to be out west soon. I hope to see some people out west. It would be absolutely awesome. That's what it's all about. So like I said, I'll do more content with it. Hopefully next time I'll have my friend with me so we could do a little bit of filming. This last one I was by myself in the convoy, so trying to film and do manage the radio and focus on the trail and all that was just too much. So I didn't really get a ton of that. I got some pictures, some others took some videos and some pictures. So yeah, I'll try and do more. Like I said, I'll upload more. Just let me know what you guys want to see. Even if not a lot of people watch it, it's just really, for me, it's just about documenting my adventures, and if other people like to see it, then they like to see it, but if not, it's not a huge deal. Like I said, for me, it's just about documenting and looking back and remembering where we all came from and how we start. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys.